Hi, this is Eric Bjornstedt from Bell Performance. Here once again to talk to you about cold flow and cold weather diesel treatment. Specifically, even though it is the middle of summer, even though the weather's hot, this is actually the time when businesses that normally have to be concerned about diesel gelling in the winter, this is the time when they're gathering their options. This is the time when they're considering what the best options are and then eventually making their purchasing decisions. So as you're planning for what you're going to do with respect to making sure that your diesel fuel doesn't gel this winter, as you're doing those plans, it's important to take into consideration that very likely you may be using some levels of biodiesel and not even be aware of it. See, in 2007, right about the time that ultra-low sulfur diesel was being phased into the nation's fuel supply, the federal government also started a big push for greater use of renewable fuels in the fuels landscape, and that included large amounts of biodiesel. Now, biodiesel is a very good fuel that has some excellent definite benefits. It's environmentally friendly. It creates fewer emissions, so it helps air quality. It is made from renewable resources. It can be made from any number of plant oils or animal fats. So it's a renewable resource, and it fixes one of the inherent problems that ultra-low sulfur diesel has, which was a lack of lubricity. You add just a very small amount of biodiesel, you will solve that problem without having to spend anything extra on lubricity additives. So those are some distinct advantages, some distinct good things about biodiesel. But like with many things, there are bad things that you have to take along with the good. And the cold weather performance of biodiesel definitely falls under this category. See, depending on what kind of fat, what kind of feedstock that you make it from, biodiesel can gel at significantly higher temperatures than conventional petrodiesel. In fact, if you get some biodiesels that are made from tropical oils like palm oil, jatropha, coconut oil, those can actually thicken up, gel at temperatures like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not going to work at all for a lot of people. So how does this relate to you? Well, it's pretty common now that all on-road diesel fuel, any on-road diesel fuel that you're likely to find at any filling station, it is very likely that diesel will contain up to 5% biodiesel content. And the thing is that it does not have to be disclosed at all. There's no labeling of it. They're not required to say this, like they are with gasoline fuels. They're not required to say this diesel contains up to 5% bio. No, they can just label it as regular diesel fuel with no sign anywhere that it's got any biodiesel in it. So what this means is that it is highly likely that the diesel fuel that you're going to be having to protect this winter is going to have at least some biodiesel content. And that is important to take into consideration because it's going to affect at what temperature your fuel gels at. See, if historically you would plan that your diesel fuel would have problems at, let's say, minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit, if that's historically what you planned for, but now you're faced with using diesel fuel that's got 5% bio in it, that 5% bio, again, depending on what feedstock it's made from, it's probably going to raise the gelling temperature of that, at least a few degrees. So instead of minus 10, maybe it's going to gel at minus 6 or minus 5. And, that could be a problem because, if you're trying to manage equipment that is, shall we say, critical use, it absolutely, positively cannot go down. Let's say it's a school bus fleet in Chicago. You got to get those kids to school. What are the chances that a winter day in Chicago the temperature going to reach minus 10 versus minus 5 or minus 6? A lot more likely, in fact exponentially more likely, that it might hit minus 5 than minus 10. And so while you never know exactly what's going to happen, it is enough of a consideration that you should definitely take into account the fact that you may need to change your expectations up a few degrees higher when you're judging when you need to be protecting your fuel. So if this is you, if you're a person, or if your company is in this kind of position, then we at Bell Performance would love to talk to you about why Cold Flow Improver might be exactly what you need. Cold Flow Improver is excellent for protecting diesel fuel against gelling at these low temperatures, and it's also excellent for diesel fuel that has low-level biodiesel in it. So if that's you, we would love to be able to at least just make the case why Cold Flow Improver is likely your best solution. So you can call us at the Bell Performance office, 47831-5021. If you prefer, which many people do, you can just email us at info@bellperformance.net. We would welcome the chance to make the case why Cold Flow Improver from Bell Performance is exactly what you and your company and your fuel needs this winter.